Chito Vera has some of the most incredible knockouts in the UFC over Frankie Edgar, Rob Font, um, Dominic Cruz. The list goes on. Some of the most spectacular finishes in the UFC over the past 2 years have been by Chito Marlon Vera. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to How to Fuck Up Your Parlay. I am your host this week, Jesse Rowe, and we're going to be talking about a few fights split up between boxing and MMA. We've got the UFC fight between Cory Sandhagen and Chito Vera, the big bantamweight banger going on down in San Antonio, as well as Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, an absolute monster clash in the boxing world. That's a great fight. So we're going to break down 3 fights that I like from this weekend and how you can maybe make some money off of it. Now, in honor of the UCLA Bruins, who just came up short in March Madness in a heartbreaking loss to Gonzaga, I am wearing my Los Angeles Kings athletic jacket, as well as my Dodgers cap to represent the great city of Los Angeles. Trigger warning to all of you, but shout out to the Bruins. It was a tough loss, but you guys fought valiantly. Hard way to go. Still proud of you. First, let's start with the UFC in San Antonio. We have a couple of fights on that card that I'm going to be discussing. We have the co-main event, which is Holm versus Yana Santos, and Chito Vera versus Cory Sandhagen. Starting with Holm. Holm is a minus 245 favorite. Santos is a plus 205 underdog. Holm is older. She's 41 years old, so she's certainly in the twilight of her career, but she simply has a better resume and bigger wins against bigger names. It makes sense that she would be a favorite in this fight. You're getting decent odds at plus 205 with Santos. Be that as it may, I still think Holm has more ways to win. I'm taking Holly, and we're going to go back to this later for a for winning method bets, but I'm taking Holly Holm, going over to Chito Vera and Cory Sandhagen. This is the fight that has been in the back of my mind for the past couple of months. I'm so excited for this fight. And this fight was actually delayed. It was supposed to be about a month ago at the Apex, but UFC moved it to San Antonio because they wanted this fight to be in front of a crowd. This fight belongs in front of a full arena because it has huge implications. I mean, these two guys are arguably going to be champions within the next 6 months. So it's absolutely, it only makes sense that this fight would take place in front of a large crowd. And at a minus 165, I like Cory Sandhagen, but I have so much, like, this is a fight where I might literally have to flip a coin. I love both of these fighters. These are 2 of my favorite fighters in the UFC. Chito Vera is a friend of Inside Fighting. We've interviewed him a couple of times. He's an awesome dude, but I also think Cory Sandhagen's an awesome dude. And this is just one of those fights where I just like the people that are fighting so much. I don't really want either one of them to win. I wouldn't be upset if it ended in a draw. Be that as it may, I'm taking Cory Sandhagen as the favorite at minus 165. I just think he has more ways to win. I think he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's got incredible kickboxing, incredible striking. He's a volume puncher. He knows how to go the full 5 rounds. I think Chito is probably going to be relying more on his knockout ability. Chito Vera has some of the most incredible knockouts in the UFC over Frankie Edgar, Rob Font, Dominic Cruz. The list goes on. Some of the most spectacular finishes in the UFC over the past 2 years have been by Chito Marlon Vera. And if you pick him, I wouldn't blame you. I think you're getting great odds with Chito. And I actually think it's kind of, this fight could easily be like a plus 105, minus 105 situation, just a virtual coin flip. But Sandhagen just has a little bit more pedigree. He's fought for the title before, a little bit more experience. I'm taking Sandhagen. I don't love the pick. I don't love betting this one outright, but I just think Cory is just a little bit more advanced, and I think he's going to get it done. But I'm rooting for Chito Vera. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, guys. You probably shouldn't be taking gambling advice from me. Moving on, we're going to go to Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez. This is a huge fight. These two guys are studs and they hate each other. They legitimately hate each other. Go back and watch some of the press conferences for this fight leading up to this event. I mean, you're talking about guys that legitimately want to hurt each other. I mean, even David Benavidez's dad gets involved and talks shit to Caleb Plant. These two guys absolutely despise each other. I'm stoked on this one. Plant is a plus 40 underdog. Benavidez is a minus 310 favorite. So the odds makers do feel like Benavidez is going to prevail in this fight. But being that as may, Caleb Plant is a high value underdog in this situation. Plant is probably a better boxer. Benavidez is a better puncher. He has more knockout power, right? So I think that does Plant have the power to offset the power of Benavidez? Is his boxing going to be enough? Is his volume punching going to be enough? Remains to be seen. Vegas doesn't seem to think so. Plant has fought, though, against bigger names. He has fought against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, he got knocked out. He lost. He was stopped by Canelo. But he fought well. He fought valiantly in that fight. He put up a good effort, and he held his own for a while in that fight. And making money on Benavidez means you'd have to risk basically $400 to win 100, even if you believed that he was going to win this fight. I don't love those odds considering how good of a boxer Plant is, because I do think this is a fight that could potentially end up as a decision. The odds makers don't seem to think so, though, which is interesting because the odds on a decision coming out in this fight the odds of a knockout are plus 300, which if you pick winning method for Benavidez by knockout, these are the lowest odds that you would get, would be plus 300 for a knockout. So they're expecting a knockout. If he was to win by a split decision or unanimous decision is where you're getting good odds. You're getting a plus 500 to win by unanimous decision. You're getting a plus 1600 to win by a split decision. And I actually do think this fight has potential to go the distance. And I think Plant has a chance to do enough boxing where he could sway the judges on some scorecards here. Be that as it may, I'm still picking Benavidez to win the fight. But Benavidez to win by a split decision at plus 1600, I kind of like that bet a little bit. I'd be more likely to go with the unanimous decision. I do think Benavidez will overpower Plant in the end, but I don't know if that means Plant's going to get knocked out. He's only lost once, and that was by knockout. Benavidez obviously has incredible knockout power, but I think Plant has trained so well for this fight. I think that he's so motivated by this fight. I think both guys are genuinely this is the most motivating fight they've ever had, with the exception of Canelo versus Caleb Plant. I like the idea of this fight going to a decision, which might surprise some of you, but I do like that bet for Benavidez to win by unanimous decision as a plus 500. I do love that bet. Bet $100, win 600. Love it. And so that leads me to my parlay. This is only going to be a 3-leg parlay, but I do like the odds in this. I'm taking the Holm money line. I'm taking Benavidez by KO, TKO, or DQ. And then I'm taking Cory Sandhagen to win by KO, TKO, or DQ, which is at a plus 600. The 3-leg parlay itself ends up being at a plus 1565, which means if I were to bet $10, I would win $167. I like that bet. Tell me what you guys think of my parlay. It's worth it. Bet $100, you can win $1,600. All you need is Holm to win outright, Cory Sandhagen to win by a KO, TKO, or DQ, or David Benavidez to win by KO, TKO, or DQ. How do you not like those odds? Guys, let's make some money. Let's live the high life. Let's go party on yachts this summer. Let's fuck up some parlays. I'll see you later.